So, good evening, everyone. We are now going to start our meeting. It is 6:39. This is the Public Safety and Transportation Committee. It is January 15th. And we'll do a call to order. Roll call, please. Ground rules. This is the roll.
Okay. That round was
All right. Ground rules. No one may speak until granted the floor. CB11 members. If you have a question about board business or wish to make a motion, please raise your hand. Wait to be recognized. So raise your hand through Zoom. Click the participant icon. You will find the raise hand function there. Members should not engage in back and forth discussion. The chair will recognize the next person to speak. Please keep your questions and comments brief and on topic to the discussion. Members of the public, if you have a question or comment about the subject on the agenda, please raise your hand and wait to be recognized.
Okay, committee members, there are now 11 members on this committee, 6 are needed for quorum. Jose Altamirano,
Present.
Leslie Colon,
Present.
Carlos Diaz, Wanda Hopkins, Keoka Jackson, Christina Johnson,
Here.
Jewel Jones,
Here.
Sage Mason,
Here.
Valerie Ponte,
Present.
Valerie, Don Sanders, Michelle will try to comment if request to be excused. We have 6 present, we have 4.
Thank you. A second, I'm trying to log into the Zoom as well. I'd like to adopt the January 26th agenda, which is today's agenda. Are we adopting the minutes from September to December? We're adopting minutes tonight?
Yes,
They've never been adopted?
They have not been adopted.
Is everyone comfortable with adopting the minutes from September to December?
Yeah.
Okay. Then we will do so. Okay, 1 second, I'll let just finish this. I'm having such a hard time. All right, perfect. So, we had a member who had difficulty, who had their hand raised at a meeting. It was never addressed, and in order to avoid that happening in the future, we're now asking all chairs to be on Zoom as well. So they, that's me. All right, now we're ready to go. All right, everyone, thank you. Rafael, it's always a pleasure to see you. We're going to do a couple of announcements. We have the Manhattan District Attorney's Office has released a request for proposals. Are they here? Could they say this themselves? Actually, that would be great if we can.
Hi, Luther, are you able to speak on this current announcement with the DA's office by any chance, or?
Yes, I can. Just give me a little 30 seconds to pull this up in front of me. I had it and then I didn't have it, but now I can pull it up right now. Hold on. Here it is. All right, great. Good evening. You guys hear me? So yes, we have put out our Gun Violence Prevention Initiative 2026 request for proposals, our RFP. This is our program where we are providing $30,000 to organizations covering the Manhattan borough who work on different various forms of gun violence prevention. The detailed instructions and eligibility criteria are on our full RFP document. I'll send the link in here. And those who are interested can access that. And submissions are due February 6th, 2026, no later than 2:59 p.m. This is a really great opportunity. Most of the money goes to the young people that is a part of the program. You're allowed to submit based on the uh, community that you're planning to be serving, and the money gets you dispersed throughout the kids, but also some of that, of course, you get to use to run your actual programming. Um, Further questions and details, there are particular emails you can reach out to. I won't have those answers myself, but you can reach out to. I can drop it in the chat, but it is. Oh wait, hold on. What's today? Oh yes. So bids RFPS at danny.nyc.gov. I'll drop it in the chat. Now, all the questions need to be submitted by tomorrow. So if you have any questions about the details of the RFP, make sure to reach out immediately. There was an info session earlier today, but like I said, the actual deadline isn't until the 6th.
Thank you, Dr. And now that we have you, and we already have you speaking, do you have any other informational updates for us?
I do. I have one more thing I really wanted to share, and that is so we are joining Cordell Clear's office. So I don't want to jump their announcement, but that's one of ours announcements as well. We're doing a clean slate clinic on Friday, January 23rd at 1 p.m. at the historic Masjid Malcolm Shabazz on 116th Street. We'll have You'll be able to have your record reviewed to see if you're eligible for sealing. This event includes panels, workshops, and legal organizations. So, of course, the Manhattan District Attorney's Office will be participating in that. The other thing that I want to just announce and share is we've been promoting our youth ambassadors program, and that it has started now. And I'm happy to share that we have 3 participants who are from East Harlem, which is a big deal because each of the 6 different communities gets 2 to 3 participants from their community. Last year, there were 2 who represented East Harlem. However, they went to school in East Harlem and did not live in East Harlem. So that's why it's a big deal that we, thanks to your support and helping to promote it and getting a significant amount of great applicants in, we have 3 participants who are in fact from East Harlem who will be representing the community at these workshops for with the district attorney's office. So they'll be learning different things about how the system works, and will be brought to different community engagement officers, including myself, so that they'll get to see what work we do and they can speak from the point of view of being a youth in these communities, because that's how we actually make things happen, by listening to the people who are living those lives. So that's the things that I want to share for today.
It's amazing news, Dr. Does the committee have any questions? Anyone has questions for Dr.? No, but I'm very happy to hear that we have 3 participants from East Harlem. We always want youth in our community to get more participation, see the different paths that are ahead of them. So it's great that your program was able to do that for us. We appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay, do we have anyone from the 2-5 or the 2-3? I'm having a hard time still getting used to. I don't see anyone.
From the 2-5, 2-3, or PSA 5.
Okay, we're gonna have to work on that. Have they been coming?
Officer Cosme showed up last month, but in the past, there's been an issue with us sending the agenda out in a timely manner for them, and it's particularly they'd have conflicting meetings themselves, or they'd have something,
But this committee has had a standing date, right? This committee hasn't changed.
Right, but in terms of actually sending the notice, or say, for example, sending the Zoom notice, if we don't send it out in a reasonable time, maybe perhaps like the 2-3 Officer Rivera, Detective Rivera, he'd explain that it's too late for him in terms of putting into his schedule. So I try to let him know that we try to do our best to send that further in advance so we can avoid those conflicts.
Oh, sounds very reasonable.
But like I said, last month Officer Cosme did attend.
Okay, great.
We haven't heard from PSA 5 in a while, I'd
I
say.
think it's also Comstat today, so I think it's Comstat. It's only once a month, so I think this one is only, the reason why all officers have to go is because it's a new chief
New chief, where?
from Manhattan.
They left the overall chief from Manhattan North changed. All right, good to know. So we'll have to work on that 2.5 and talk to Powers and Closement. But if they've been coming, it's great. PSA 5 is notoriously difficult, but we can make that considering how much of our issues come from housing, and PSA 5 only focuses on housing. We'll have to make that conversation. We will get our chair to pay them a visit. I haven't been to PSA 5 in a minute, so we'll take a walk over. All right, so fire department we have for a presentation, or do we have a local? Has the fire department been coming? I've never seen, that's new.
No one local firm at the in terms of information updates recently, but the person who is supposed to be doing the presentation, he's online, and we'll get to him.
So we'll get to him in a bit. We also have the MTA, DOT. Oh, DOT is here. He's front person. So, Rafael, how are you? You ready for us? You have some information for us? We have a lot of questions for you. I don't know. I think you've been getting away with murder. But...
Let me introduce myself. Official, Rafael Escano. I have the borough planner, responsible for this district. I do not have much to report, but I just like to tell you that Third Avenue is going very well. And if you notice, 125th Street and Third Avenue, there's a half-done pedestrian island. So that has paused for a while until it gets warmer and the concrete is going to be poured, and that will be hopefully completed on time. And anything else, I don't have anything to share unless you guys have questions.
Just, do we have an update on the timing of when they're gonna put bus lanes on 116th Street?
Can you repeat that again?
The bus lanes on 116th Street? When is that going to happen?
That will be coming.
That's a presentation.
It's not going to be implemented unless you come back and make a presentation again and have your response. We're not going to do that unless.
The community board took a position against that stage last time.
Last time.
They were here?
Months ago?
Let me take a check.
Or last month?
I'll tell you right now.
I don't know. It was some time ago.
But also, just for us to remember, all our letters and resolutions, they're on the webpage.
Right.
Just give me 1 second to see if I can find it real quick.
I remember maybe we had said that we were not going to issue a letter of support, but I felt like you guys were going to do it anyway.
I don't recall.
Yeah, no, I don't remember that. DLT's not that mean.
Specifically 116, right?
Particularly
Yeah.
just 116.
I thought we wrote something. Response to bus priority lane, May 26th.
No, the community board took a position against 116th Street bus lanes.
And that means that the DOT is not going to do that?
For the time being, they have not.
That's the first time that's ever happened.
No, actually, it's not the first time. Maybe while you've been here. There's been other times when we've taken positions and they have been very amicable about it. The reality is, obviously, like the avenues are a different story. But even then, when they've made changes to them, they've come. When Frank was here, Dan's father, this is a long time ago, we took a position against the First Avenue. We took a position against all of them, actually.
You took a position for it, and then you guys rescinded it.
It was initially in favor, then we rescinded it at a full board, a very chaotic full board. And then they waited until we were able to reach an amicable decision. So I won't say that DOT doesn't listen all the time. Sometimes they do. We still have most of the time they do. I mean, they want to have good working relationships with the communities. That's why Rafael is here and everyone is here. And they've been very open, at least when I was chair prior. They came out. We did a walkthrough of almost every major thorough street. 96. We did 106. We did a 116, 125th, and then we did some smaller ones. We were able to get new curves. We were able to get so they did. We also have pedestrian timing phase, which means that I don't know if you've noticed they're all red for kind of 15 seconds. You get to about half the block, which has significantly helped us in having less pedestrian accidents. If anything, I hope that the city at one point pushes forward to have a complete pedestrian phase like they do in Japan, where everything is red, only pedestrians walk. And then
We have that in New Haven, Connecticut as well.
I have it in New Haven. I had cousins in New Haven. It's been a minute since I've been to New Haven, so that's good. I'm gonna keep that in mind next time they ask me. Yes.
Good evening. I just wanted to find out about the lighting on Third Avenue from 99th Street all the way to 112. I know specifically on 106 and Third, there's not enough lighting there. So,
106 and 3.
right, I know right there. And then when you're coming up Third Avenue, there isn't enough lighting on 99th Street. You have the Washington Projects parking lot is dark. You keep walking up, it's dark. Now the stores on 104th, you get the lighting from there, but there's not enough street lighting as well.
When you say there's no street lighting, there's not enough illumination from what we already have there.
Yes.
They have street. So, do they have poles already there?
The poles are there, but it's not bright enough. And it's like,
So this is more of asking you to probably changing from those incandescent, those very old lights to the LEDs. But we've done that in a few other places.
and the shelters, how come the shelters don't have a time? Like when the next bus is gonna
Oh, I
arrive.
was about to say, like, what do you bus shelter? You said
bus-
shelter, and I was thinking something else
The
completely.
bus shelter.
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna get DOT one.
Some of them
Not all.
have them, not all of them. Yeah,
No,
but that's the MTA.
okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
All right. that's
Anything
another one.
MTA, anything bus.
Right, but that's very helpful. I seen it. Yeah, I seen it. It's very, very.
Yeah, because a lot of people wait, and then, I guess you wouldn't, like, I know they changed the bus stop of the M101 on Third, and now it's local and limited. So it'll stop on 119 and then take you all the way to 125th and Third,
That's again MTA.
MTA.
It's MTA.
Yeah, and yeah, I'm totally against the bus lane on 116.
Is there an MTA liaison?
We do have one, but
It's not on.
they would prefer to attend if we have like specific questions for them. They're notified of the meetings,
So we can make these questions
So yeah, it's
and send the questions. So
Yes.
what bus line was it you were asking about?
The 101.
The 101. What about in
Yeah.
particular?
I thought they were changing the bus stop to 122nd, but my mother was on the 101, and it stopped at 119, and she was gonna get off on 122nd, and the guy kept going all the way to 123rd and 3rd, 125th and 3rd. He turned,
So they
And
stopped
it's
at
like-
119.
right, and he's like, "Oh, this is the limited," and it's like, it didn't say limited on the front, it just said the 101.
Is there a stop on 127?
They moved it. They were supposed to have moved it, because they had moved it away from Taino Towers, and they have the bus.
So we'll send him there. If we have his contact,
I
we'll
have-
have.
If I may,
Sure.
about that, it's being reviewed. It's not gonna be back where it was originally, but it's going to be, if I'm not mistaken, a little bit more convenient to the people living right there at
Taino?
at Taino.
It used to be in front of Taino
Right,
Tower.
so they are, if I remember correctly, they are reviewing that request.
Is there a particular reason it was moved from Taino Tower? Construction
I'm
or?
unable to
Well, they had
say
the
that.
scaffolding there for like 30 years, and then they
Right.
moved it.
But the scaffolding is already.
I can find out exactly what
They,
led to the movement.
so now they have a truck stop there. So the deliveries for the supermarket.
That is Rafael.
No, there is no loading.
Some loading from
No,
7
what-
to 1
In front of Taino or
In front
across
of
the street?
Taino?
in front of Taino. Because the bus stop was there.
This committee requested.
You can,
no neighborhood loading
you look
zones
on
in front
Google
of
Maps,
Taino.
you'd see the people loading the trucks.
That's an old Lincoln Town car. We'll check the signage on it. But so that is a program that I don't think we requested it. I think we
We did.
were.
We did.
Yeah?
This committee just put that in the, check our minutes
Well,
on the table.
Well, this is a program that the
Yeah, I
city is
remember, but I-
pushing, and they give you options as to where. So I'm not necessarily sure it's a request or we chose
Here, one second.
an option. But you might be right. I haven't been here in a minute.
One second.
But this was the case that was specifically requested, I remember a few months ago, but I am not sure whether that has been changed.
Support for a neighborhood loading zone on 3rd Avenue between 122nd and 123rd Street. We did that in October last year, right? And specifically, Community Board 11 supports a neighborhood loading zone to change from the current parking regulations, or at that time, which should have been no parking Tuesday, Friday, 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. to truck loading only Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 12 p.m. And we've noted that current parking regulations are not conducive for the area around Taino Towers complex. Both businesses and residents are in continuous receipt of large merchandise and deliveries on a daily to weekly basis, encouraging double parking, which further contributes to notable congestion and pedestrian safety hazards. Converting this section to a loading zone will help sustain economic activity and improve access and operations for both the commercial and residential components of this community hub.
You saw signage there?
No, I remember that.
Yeah, but
I double park. I can't even get to the sidewalk, so.
Yeah, there's no double parking there because it's a bus lane. If you double park there, you get a ticket real fast.
Mm-hmm.
Our chair Dunn is here. He had a question or comment.
I might be missing, but the traffic light by Wagner on 20th and Pleasant, that's supposed to be put in, do we have a time frame on that?
it's traffic signal?
Yeah, oh, yeah,
Signal, traffic.
yeah,
Yeah, I go to traffic.
okay,
Where was that?
Pleasant
20th
Avenue,
and Pleasant
120.
Pleasant.
The one that was
Yeah.
missing. We spoke about this.
Pleasant
And,
on
20th,
20th.
yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be done.
Now we're asking
Yeah,
when.
Like, do you have an idea on the time frame?
You know, it's very difficult to, but that was approved, which was,
That was the
road
hurdle, right?
and also, I have talked about in the past that the speed bumps has already been approved.
That I heard too.
Right, so I don't.
Like, from your,
Mhm.
I'm not gonna hold you, or I don't think we'll hold you to.
No, that's
But
okay.
Like, what would your expectation on the time frame be for the traffic signal?
It's so difficult, to kind of estimate.
6 months?
So, what I will kind of motivate you to be glad that it has been approved.
I mean, I'll be glad it's approved for a few months, but.
Right.
It's already been a few months.
But it's, and sometimes it's done, I'm not even
Aware.
notified at times.
Right, yeah.
So I will,
Yeah, could you just?
Yes, of
maybe-
course.
Yeah, and then
yeah.
there was another one I know that you helped out with, I was on the email, and I haven't had a chance to go by there, so it might be done and I don't even know. 124th, between 1st and 2nd, it was the sidewalk by Wagner, across from the pool. You had said that it had been referred to the right department, and that they would be
Yes.
fixing it. I haven't gone by, so I don't know.
I don't know either, but I will look into
Okay,
it.
beautiful. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, because I submitted a.
Yeah, no, yeah, you've been on top of it, I just figured I'd follow up with you. Thank you.
Can I just add one, because we went from the lighting to the bus, we just kind of skipped really quickly, but for
Skip what? What did we skip?
the new, so we were talking about the lighting and the.
We're talking everything DOT. That it kind of.
We just kind of skipped topics real quick.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a big department.
For 9 years, I've been asking about the lighting on 117th Street. between Park and Madison Avenue after the death of the young man. And I feel like for 9 years, it has never gotten addressed at all. And now, and I just said maybe about 6 months ago that we just had another man, because of the lighting, he broke his leg in 3 places because you can't see the curve. But not only is it dangerous, it is also disgusting because we can't see the feces that are on the ground in that area. So we usually track feces into our building. There is a lighting pole there. It was, so what's happening is that the trees block it. It is way too far up. But we've said that for 9 years. So I'm wondering if that is ever going to be looked at. I mean, literally it's right here. So if you walk out this door right here and you turn the corner, it's literally right here.
That's Park's responsibility to treat those streets.
But the light could be brought down.
So remember what we did in Marcus Garvey? Actually, it was Lyle. It wasn't you. But could we look into this? So in Marcus Garvey, we had the same problem. And we didn't do anything at the top. What we did is they cut into the pole right below the tree line. And they put a new little extension light. And it was all LEDs. And it made a huge difference.
Really?
It's there now. So we asked for that, and we were able to get that because obviously, like, that's a park, so it's a little different. And we don't want to cut the trees out of park down. But it was very effective. So we're gonna see if we do walkthrough. We did major street walkthroughs. I think we should do the rest of the smaller streets. Maybe we can set something up on your schedule. I'm not sure how busy you are, weekly or bi-weekly. It doesn't take long to walk it from, and we're not doing in the major ones. We ask you to bring your signing, your signals team. Like, we don't really need the signals team for the smaller ones. That's more for the major ones. But we did find. I mean, we walked with Lyle, and here on 116 and Park, we found a hole that was like 4 feet deep. Like, Lyle, like, it blew his mind. He was like, "I can't believe this is here." Like, if somebody felt like about 4. So let's say where a car parks is about 5 feet, another 1.5 feet, like right there. This thing was maybe this big. It was deep.
Where was it?
Right here on 116. On 116 in the park. And it like blew his mind. But he never would have seen it if we didn't do this walkthrough. So we may want to do these walkthroughs. But this request from 117 has been a long time. So if we can't manage to do trees, because parks, that's a different story, we can take that example of what we did in Marcus Garvey.
Actually, we just had a meeting with Park and Marcus Garvey last Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Not this Monday, past January the 5th, because they had problems with the lighting in the park.
In the park, yeah, I imagine. You know how this city is. There's always going to be problems. But we try to fix them with little steps.
If you could, I'm sorry, what's your name? Kiyoka.
Mhm.
If you could give the details that you just expressed to Khalid, so you could send it to me, so I can follow it up. That would be helpful.
Maybe you should walk down the street.
I noticed that block is
Yeah.
dark.
Yeah.
I noticed when I walked early. Actually, I had noted that.
Sage beat me to it, but
Every
thank
time I
you,
go
Sage.
here.
So yeah,
But it's a little
I don't think
lighter now because the trees don't have.
Age.
Right.
Is it against the law to, I guess I'm the lawyer.
Yeah.
But to like cut down branches from a tree without talking to the Parks Department? Is that like destruction?
No, you get.
You get a fine.
they get fined.
You get a fine.
It's a problem. But what we can ask is for that. So could you do that research in Marcus Garvey for what was done
Yeah,
there?
I'll ask.
Because that's already something that was previously done.
I will ask.
Lyle's still doing the West, so he would tell you everything you need to know
Yeah.
about that. That would be a great solution for a lot of these hard, particularly not just one. We're focused on obviously Park and Madison, but Park and Lexington has the same situation. In the summer, the trees are very luscious. At nighttime,
Yeah,
black.
that's a problem throughout. That was after Bloomberg's $1 million trees. Still remember that program?
Trees are good. Sometimes the city doesn't do the best job at picking a tree. You know, I have a personal issue with when the trees that the city plants and they pull up the sidewalk, and then the building owner is paid to get the sidewalk redone.
Yeah.
That's a different story. Do we have? I have a few other things, but does the committee have any other? Because we're close. It's good to get all these things out of the way. Do we have any other requests, concerns? No? Okay, great. How are we doing on 117th? Because cars are still parking in that stuff. You guys put a couple of them. Those have been great. But toward the end, they're still. I got a million pictures because I'm always around.
I had a discussion with the project manager there a couple of weeks ago, because I think that there should be some kind of elements that would prevent that from happening.
I mean, if you put another one of those
right
at the end,
you mean the planters?
The planters.
The planters.
Sure,
there are only 4 planters.
You need 2 more, 3 more.
Yeah. What I would suggest they will do is to put some more bollards.
Bollocks is bollocks. You know what bollocks is in England? That's exactly what. It's bollocks. Like that's why people run them over. They run them over.
Yeah, they run them over.
So it makes no sense to ask for bollocks. If you put more of the planters, it would be also. We would see if you can repave that area, because the whole point of it is for people to be able to walk it. And you did repave it, and we're very thankful.
Yeah,
but apparently it hasn't been that long.
It's been a while.
Hasn't been that long, but I mean, again, it's like I'm not a structural engineer.
But it's not repaving per se.
And there are some holes. They're like it looks like you're surfing there. And if you're someone elderly and you were walking with a shopping cart, which is a major concern, because a lot of people go to Costco for their shopping, and you could not use that area. It's just bad. And I was there when you helped us to repave it all. We appreciate that, but we may have to give it another There was concerns also from East River Plaza about the very end part. It doesn't give. We may have to talk about that. There was a request because their trucks come out of there. It is very tight.
So that planter that has been placed at that particular spot.
I think not necessarily the planter itself, but just the angle and how close the angle was. We can talk about that also, because that's more specific. I'll send you pictures.
Okay.
But it does need to be repaved, because otherwise, if you have a shopping cart, you can't use it. And the whole point that the previous council person did that was to help the flow of pedestrians. Originally, people thought that everyone would walk to 116 and use those big, beautiful sidewalks and go about their business, but everyone walks 117. And 117 is a very small sidewalk there.
I was not here at the beginning of this project, but was there any discussion about extending the sidewalk?
Originally, that it was the plan. So what you have now is supposed to be a temporary situation.
So can you put it in writing?
We can.
So I can push it?
Mm-hmm. We can talk about that.
Yeah, because I think you deserve that extension.
It was supposed to be a trial period.
Temporary, right?
Temporary.
Hey.
But it hasn't been that long, this thing. It took a while to get it.
I've been with it.
How long have you been here?
3 years.
3 years.
You know, a little bit over 3 years. And
okay, so we'll leave that one alone, because we'll be on top of you for that. And we will definitely have that conversation as we move along. There's no notice of the capital project that you guys have for 120 for the 128th for the 3rd Avenue.
Oh, that's paused.
That's paused. Yeah. Good. So then we have time for this committee to revisit that, because again, there is a big concern with how much traffic that's causing. And I had a request for them to make 3rd Avenue a 2-way street on 127 to 128. which
Yes.
people do right now. They illegally drive up
Mhm.
because the difference in traffic, there's no one that drives on 127. So just for the committee's explanation, as you drive up 3rd Avenue, 127th Street is a one-way to the left, and it's a one-way to the right, which means 127th Street going right only occupies 3rd Avenue. So there's almost no traffic here, like very to little traffic. So they're going to do extensive construction over here, which we can bring this up at our next meeting so everyone can see, because as you all know, as was a major cause, their capital project there is going to be like, it's going to at least double the time it takes to get into here, which means cars will be sitting in traffic significantly longer and everything else. So downtown 3rd Avenue is 2 ways, and there was a request, and the former council person was very open to it because she also had the same experience. When our current council member LC, I drove her there, and within 30 seconds of being there, a parks department when a big 350 truck went up and took 127th Street to avoid the traffic, and then a few other cars followed. And sometimes to avoid police that park a little further up, they go in reverse. They'll park and they'll go in reverse, and then they'll. But when people are doing this, it's just eventually I think we need to have common sense solutions. There's a significant amount of traffic, and then we have a street that has almost no traffic. Why not occupy? You still get all your, shiny capital projects.
You're talking about the park.
But you know that that 3rd Avenue and 128th Street, pedestrian bridge is going to be also.
I know they're going to remove it,
Right.
and they're going to push 128th Street, that school and that street. They're going to push it up into a traffic signal. And they're going to make that traffic signal then go, and they're going to make it merge there, and it's going to go. So traffic on the 3rd Avenue bridge into the Bronx will be explosive. I think at least double the traffic is a very short estimate.
One thing to consider, because I haven't been on this committee, maybe you know it all, but we have, you put like Google Maps up, right, sometimes, so it could be nice, we could see.
Oh, we could do that.
No, not now.
We can do it now. We just had a short.
No, I didn't mean that. I just meant,
Yeah. Usually they had a full presentation, which we have, please, right?
Yeah. No, I don't even mean him. I mean like when we're discussing something.
Oh yeah.
Put it up.
This was just me,
No, I'm not
I wanted to
talking
know
about
where it was, because they told us we went from they asked us for a planning department, and then they told us it was approved, right, Khalid?
Yes,
Maybe
yes,
more or
it's currently active right now. DDC reps have advised that it's a capital project that should be occurring. I don't know, either this spring or I think they're starting this spring. That's in our district and service cabinets. I want to go back for the daylighting, measures for along 117. When they came to us with the 116th Street proposal, that would have also included pedestrian and safety infrastructure along Pleasant Avenue by installing 2 offset parking protected bike lanes with buffers, 2 travel lanes, and painted pedestrian space / daylighting techniques along the segment. But we, in the same letter, we didn't specify specifically for the daylighting or safety measures along that segment. We did ask for the traffic signal at 120th Street, on Pleasant Avenue from 120th Street and maybe along the sector there, but we also didn't specify specifically like putting in daylighting techniques along that segment that might help with the issue at 117th Street. So just want to clarify that for the record.
No, I think the daylighting it's a different. I don't think
That is included in the 116th Street modification.
They also told us we wouldn't get that signal light on the 120 and without the whole project being approved.
Yeah.
Felt very blackmailish,
Not really, but that's part of the entire project.
So three school was a huge public housing wasn't enough. Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you though. We're gonna, I'm not looking forward to working with you. It's gonna be great. But for the yeah, please remember to talk to Lau. You don't need me to remind you about the project for about bringing the LEDs a little further down. I think 117th on both sides of the park.
He would be glad that I bring it up to his attention. So
Amazing.
remember.
Also on Second Avenue too, and from 106 to 109.
I know. But
That's where MTA is at, but it's still, there's a lot of, not enough lighting.
They wouldn't do it independent.
Oh.
Oh, well, I didn't get that, but I just want to see this.
All right. Thank you, Rafael.
That's it.
This is exciting. When you walk out, please, when you get to 117th, look to the right and look to
I
the
know.
left.
I always do.
And not for the cars, just for the lighting, you know.
We're gonna move forward. We have. Do we have any other advocacy groups? Committee outreach reports. There's been a couple add-ons here. I like them. If not, we're gonna move on to our presentation. We have the Chief Pat Flynn here from EMS Division 6. Have an informational presentation.
Okay. Thank you.
Hey, good evening, everybody. How you doing?
Chief, pleasure to have you here with us.
Yes, thank you so much. Someone had reached out a couple weeks back, and I'm fairly new within the last 6 months. As the division chief in the area, and as far as the presentation is concerned, I can provide that next time. I was called to training today, so I sort of just had to step out for a minute. Because I had previously said that I would be in the meeting. So my intention is always to be there in person, and I can provide that next time. But if we have quick 5 minutes, I can give a quick introduction and let everybody know where we're at. So if that's cool with you, I can go ahead.
That would be great. We have all the time you need.
Awesome. So thank you so much for having me. One of the things that is so important to us in the fire department is our relationship with the community. For EMS, the EMS side of the fire department, we are Northern Manhattan is considered, that's our Division 6. So basically 59th Street all the way up to through Harlem and the Heights. So it's a pretty big area, and I've been pretty lucky. I worked there in Harlem as a lieutenant and also as a deputy chief, and now I'm the division chief there. So what we have in that area is 3 different stations. We have Station 10, which is at Metropolitan there on 96th Street. We have Station 16, which is at Harlem Hospital, and Station 13, which is further north, a little bit out of the area, but that's on 172 and Amsterdam. So that's pretty much the area that we cover. As far as what's going on with us, we have, if you've heard, we have a new commissioner that is just on board with us, as well as a new chief of EMS. So it's exciting times for us. We have a lot of change going on, a lot of different new initiatives being put into place, and it's just a lot of good stuff. We're getting some good traction. So that's something that's very much needed for us. So I basically wanted to talk about a couple of things too. So what we're doing, if anyone isn't familiar with what we do, we're responding to medical emergencies that could be, on the street, in people's homes. We are also, in charge of the medical component of any mass casualty incidents, whether it's a fire, whether it's a bus crash, whether it's a collapse. So we're taking care of patients at that level as well. And then on those mass casualty incidents, we are there for both the civilians and our brothers and sisters, firefighters, to make sure that they're okay while they're operating on the scene of those assignments. So that's a little bit of what we do. The resources we have go from, regular EMT standard training. We have paramedics, which is about, another year additional training, and you can give a higher level of care, which is basically you're bringing the emergency room to somebody's house, which is pretty impressive. And we also have some specialty units that work in hazardous materials and rescue environments, which is collapse, hazmat, marine, So we do have those resources available for the area, which is very important because obviously, we're not just a landlocked area. We have the water that's right there, and we have lots of different things going on. So I already talked about the stations there. As far as our call volume, I don't have exact numbers, but I can tell you citywide, we are the second busiest area citywide. We did, the whole city did 1.5 million calls in 2025. And I think the only one leading us is the South Bronx. So, when we respond to emergencies, they split it up. Segment 1 to 3 is more of a, life-saving cardiac arrest, unable to breathe, critical medical emergencies. And then the segments 4 to 8 is more of your sick call, minor injury. So for both of those areas to capture, we're second busiest in the station in the city, and that says a lot because the area, as we all know, is very it's dense and it's a smaller area. It's not spread out as much as the other boroughs. So it's been really, really busy. And one of the things that I was going to do the presentation on, which I can do next time, is basically due to the fact that it's so busy, we're trying to push out, some information. I think you're going to see some campaigns in the near future on when to call 911. What's a true emergency. I know due to the fact that it is so busy, we're never saying no. You call us, we're coming. We're coming to see you. So I think it's more of a matter of just trying to get in people's minds, what's a true emergency, what's not. Calling to say I stubbed my toe. We're sending resources to you for for something that's, you could take, a ride to the hospital. It's very low level. So we're trying to save our resources for the people that need us the most. And I think if we can get with the community just to let people know what's important and what isn't, I think that'll leave us available for the more true emergencies that are going on. And then also too, some of the things we do besides our responding to emergencies is we do a lot of community outreach, relations with the community. Obviously, the community board meetings here and the other community boards. We do a lot of events at schools with the children, which I love because it's just bringing awareness to them, letting them know what we do, showing them that they, if there's something that interests them, that there's a career path for them. And we also have a CPR training unit that, if anybody's interested or needs those people to come out, that kind of resource to provide a CPR training, we also have that and can offer that to the community. So there's certainly a lot going on. We have between our 3 stations, we have about 400 people that I'm responsible for. And, we run 47 ambulances throughout the day. So there's certainly a lot going on. It's always busy. There's never a lack of stuff going on. And I can tell you, we have a ton of tremendous good people, at our stations. Like I said before, our relationship with the community is the most important thing. Yes, the treatment and transport of everyone to the hospital. Obviously, we want everybody to have a great outcome, but just that back and forth and ability to interact with the community is important to us. So we want to have those good relationships, and I feel like this is a great place to start. And I'm certainly available for anybody. I'll leave my phone number and information if anybody needs to get in touch. For good news, bad news, or indifference, I'm certainly here for all of that, and would and happy to discuss anything that the community board needs.
Chief, thank you for that. We appreciate you. We definitely look forward to the full presentation. We'll sort that out when you're available. I know you're a busy man. We have some questions here from the committee. We have Leslie Colon and Sage, and we also have Christina. Well, she had her hand up, but if she's still... Leslie, go ahead.
Hi, good evening. Thank you, Chief, for coming to the presentation. Chief Luis Rodriguez was able to help me get in contact with you. My question to you is, now that Lenox Hill has removed their units, how is that impeding with the staffing?
So
Yes.
basically what happened was with that they removed 3 units from that was from the west side, so they operated in what we call the Manhattan 4 area, so basically 59th Street through 125th Street on the west side there. I believe it's from um the Park West. So basically, they took out 2 paramedic units and 1 EMT unit, and we were able to right off the bat, because what I did at that point was I asked if I could just anybody that we had extra and not assigned to a unit. I combined them all those people at the Harlem station at 16 there on 136th Street. We put out to start 1 advanced life support paramedic unit, and the department, we're waiting for them to give us staffing for the other 2 units. So that would be basically an additional 16 people that they're going to send us. So they haven't sent it to us yet, but what we also did was we moved in the meantime, because I don't want any of the areas to have less coverage than the others. We sort of split the difference and moved some of the units a little bit further west, like one of our units that sat north of Central Park. We just moved them west 3 or 4 blocks, hopefully to get them a jump. So between moving units and waiting for additional staffing, that's where we're at. But we fully intend to cover that area.
Okay, I just want to make sure that the east side, because I know the east side units are pulled for the west side during emergencies, and I don't want to leave the east side without any resources.
Yeah, correct. So the east side, from where your community board is, there was no movement, no removal of units, nothing like that. And there's station. You guys basically sit where our station 10 is, like Metropolitan Hospital. And I can certainly, next time bring the captain with me. I think that would be great for her to attend the meeting too, if that's okay with you. But as far as the impact to your area, we're not moving, deleting any units for your community board.
Okay, thank you.
That'd be great if you could be the captain as well. As you can see, Chief, Leslie is very familiar from her experience, but she doesn't. How long, Leslie, were you?
All right, I was on the service for 30 years, just recently retired.
Awesome. Well, thank you. It's always great to have people that have a good understanding of what's going on. It's very helpful. So hope you have a great retirement there. It's awesome.
She always has a tan, so I like it.
I got to take some notes. You got to let me know.
Sage, you had a question?
Yeah, thanks for being here, Chief Flynn. Can you provide some stats on, you mentioned that East Harlem is the second busiest after the South Bronx. Like, what does the breakdown look like of what kinds of things you're being called to do?
So the busiest for us, and I apologize, I don't have exact numbers. I could tell you that like I said before, it sort of breaks down into the segment 1 to 3, which is your cardiac arrest, chest pain or heart attack, difficulty breathing. So for those, I want to say it was in the 100,000 range for the year, which is really busy. And so that was the number 2. That was that we were in the South Bronx, second to them. And then the segment 4 to 8, which is sort of your minor emergency, bumps and bruises, broken bones, minor injuries. We were also second to the Bronx, but that was even more. I want to say that was like maybe upwards of 160,000 calls. So when you break that down, and the other thing too, I forgot to mention, as I'm not sure if you're familiar or not familiar, we have fire department units working within the 911 system, and then we have our voluntary ambulance partners. So that's Mount Sinai, as you mentioned before, Lenox Hill, New York Presbyterian. So we run 27 ambulances in the day and evening. Like day tour would be 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Night tour would be the opposite, 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. So we run 27 ambulances on each of those tours, and the voluntaries run about like 25. So we're sort of split between those, but the workload is equal. So there's more of the non-emergent bumps and bruises going on, as compared to the serious. But when you talk to over 100,000, that is a lot of volume of cardiac arrest, chest pain, a heart attack, a lot of those serious jobs going on, and it could be asthma, difficulty breathing. That seems to be the leading ones.
Thank you. That's more than I was expecting. And then another question. Do people ever get charged a fine for calling 911 if you guys show up and it's like not exactly not like a fake 911 call, but it's like not actually an emergency?
So currently the answer is no. So we don't. Like I said, you call, we show up. One of the things that we're trying to streamline is how the calls are taken, because a lot of times you'll get a call and it'll say, somebody's down on the, somebody passed by somebody on the street, and they're not moving, so that comes over as a cardiac arrest. So we send 2 ambulances and a fire engine to that. So that's a lot of resources, and then you can get there and be like, oh, it was just someone sleeping on a bench or something, something not emergent. So right now there's no fines, but I think for us it's more of the streamlining, the how can we better take the calls, how can we respond and send the correct resources, because it is really hard. We're relying on what the people are telling us who call in, and the way the calls come in as well. It's you call up and the first person that picks up the phone is a PD operator there. What's your emergency? Oh, I have something medical emergency. Then they send it to EMS. So you're sort of answering questions 2 times. People could get a little bit angry with that. I have an emergency. What are you asking me all these questions for? So for us to streamline that process, make it a little bit quicker, and get the correct resources, that's really a group effort between us and between the community as well. So, but the short answer is no. That right now there is no fine. And even if we respond, if you say, hey, I wasn't feeling good or I have chest pain, and we come and you're like, you know what, I feel better, I don't want to go to the hospital. If no medication was administered or any treatment given, then I believe there's no bill on that, which is sort of difficult too for the department.
All right. A question I like to ask people, just like in my day-to-day, is when the last time they called 911 is. And a lot of people say they've never called 911.
Mm-hmm.
I call 911, probably like once every couple months.
Yeah.
I see something going on the street or something.
And actually, you brought up a really good point, because that's one of the things we do with the guys and girls in school when we go, like especially with the little kids, like just bringing in awareness, like, hey, has anybody called 911? Like, are you familiar with what happens? They're gonna ask you who you are, what's your emergency, where you're located. So it just sort of, you can see it spark that thought process in their head of what happens. And I think it's actually a good idea to do it with adults too, because like you said, it's not every day, and hopefully it's not every day that someone's calling. I can even tell you, I responded to an emergency up the block from my house recently, and usually I can call from my work phone, and I didn't have my work phone. I could call directly to our dispatcher and ask them for something. So my son was with me, so I just told him to call 911 real quick. He calls, and I explained who I was, but it doesn't matter. You still have to go through the questions. And I'm like, this is crazy. I just send me someone. Like, I'm a chief. Please, I know exactly what we need. We need EMTs, BLS, ambulance. and like 5 minutes later, it's like, all right, the ambulance is on the way. Okay, thanks. So it's a lot. It's a lot, and it's a process. So we need to streamline that.
Chief, did I hear right that there's no, because my understanding is that there's a cost for an ambulance, right? It's pretty
Yes. Well, it's if
significant.
you're
Please go ahead.
if you call and we take you to the hospital, that generates the bill. Or if we're giving, even if you refuse medical attention, but we gave you a medicine or something to correct whatever deficiency was going on, I believe that generates the bill on that end. And definitely if you're taking a ride to the hospital, that generates a bill as well.
Yeah, because I call 911 more regularly than like I see someone passed out on the street, I'll call 911. I'll be like, this is the address, boom, boom, boom.
Right.
But I've seen situations where people twist their, something that is urgent, and they're like, call 911. And I'm like, don't call unless you're gonna pay that $1,500 bill. Like, take a cab. If you take a cab to the emergency room, you pay $15. There's no blood, there's no anything. It was a few weeks ago, a skateboard little accident right in front of me.
And that's another thing too. We will receive complaints sometimes. Hey, I don't like this bill. This bill was too much. And that obviously we take any complaint seriously, but there's a lot of work involved with that. If somebody lodges a complaint, usually the captain or myself is calling that person back to see what happened. We'll speak with the crew members and see what happened on the assignment. So there's a lot of work and investigation that goes into each complaint. So you can see how things would get tied up. And also too, there's a lot going on in the hospitals, and you could see through COVID, if you didn't have to be in the hospital, you shouldn't have been in the hospital. You could get sick when you're in the hospital. So, if people can use it for emergencies and we can streamline that process with them on when to call and how to best utilize us, I think that would put us both in a great place.
Chief, I had one more question. As you know, East Harlem has the second highest concentration of housing, which we lovingly call projects or PJs. And like November 11th of last year, there was an issue in East River. It was a cardiac situation, and it took about 45 minutes for us to get there. Not because it wasn't there, but it was very difficult for them to identify which building. They were on the wrong side. And as you know, some of them are extensive. Do you guys have a better way of addressing, or within the fire department, how to know which building inside the complex when you are called for an emergency? Or is that something that we can facilitate with the different them in your walkthroughs? I'm blanking the president of the, what's that called, tenant association, because this was a something that was commented to me by a tenant association, our near and dear Teresa Richardson in East River.
Right.
And we would like to see if there's a way we can help facilitate that, because the ambulance was there, the help was there, but pinpointing it was difficult.
Yeah. So there is a way, and actually, that's a really good point, because there's other places that I've worked previously in Brooklyn, and also in the Bronx. They have similar situations, but what we've done in the past too sometimes is, if there's if you're identifying a certain area where, like, hey, this is a problematic response, or we can highlight that area and we can push out that information to the stations. We can provide them with maps. I think the best thing is for that person to just stay on the phone, because the more information they provide, the more information we can get out to the crew. So even if they say, hey, I'm on 125th Street, however, the address is on this part, but the best access for us could be on on the avenue, or on a door 2 doors down from the avenue, or whatever the caller can give us helps to get that. The crew will get that information. But if the caller's vague and just says, "Yeah, I'm at 123, 125th Street," then that's where they're gonna head. But if it's identified, if you guys have some place that you're like, "Hey, we've been having issues with response to this area," we can absolutely push that out and discuss it at roll call. And then also on your end, if we're able to push it out for the people who live in that area to just have a moment to explain best access. If they're familiar with it, they might not even know. They might just be like, "Hey, this is the address. I don't know. I'm not familiar with the streets or whatever." So I think together between us, we can get a better response into that area.
That'd be great. So I look forward to reaching out in regards to at least East River, and we'll talk with our housing department to see if this is happening in other places, because that patient particularly like flatlined 3 times, and God willing, she's still with us.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's just getting there quickly and getting them that definitive care. Like I said, we're bringing the emergency room to them, so it's important for us to get there and quickly too. And that's the other thing too. When it's busy, our resources are luckily confined to the north area of Manhattan, and luckily we do have a lot of hospitals that are in that area, so it's not like people are traveling long distances to get to the hospitals. But if people are there's more calls and we have ambulances, then it gets a little sketchy. So we don't want it to get to that.
Thank you, Chief. Do we have any other questions, concerns?
Christina have a question?
She had her hand raised previously, but then she put it down. It might have been for something previous. Chief, thank you so much for. We look forward to the presentation. We will hash it out to see if it's February or March, whatever fits better. And we look forward to having you again. We will reach back about that issue with East River in particular.
Yeah, please.
The EMS was there, like they could hear it. It was hard getting to where, and again, like it's just a lot of different buildings in a very short space. So identifying them, I think, would be important. And we'll speak to housing so that we can kind of work together collaboratively with that. So thank you so much for coming. We appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you so much. If you don't mind, I'm just going to jump off because, like I said, I have to finish my training for today. And please just let me know when the next meeting is. I'll be happy to be there, and we can present and continue on.
Thank you so much.
All right, everybody, have a good night. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Night. So we'll have that presentation. It's interesting, though, and it would be interesting for the community to. What is it? Because last time I saw a bill, it was like $1,500. Like, bill is no joke.
I thought it was way more than that. I hear about.
That's the bare minimum. If you're getting oxygen, they charge you on oxygen, on mileage, on a whole.
I'm wondering. Leslie,
no, because that's a billing. That doesn't touch. Yeah, you're just doing the work.
I didn't want to keep Chief Flynn on, but what happens? Say someone's having like an overdose, EMS or like an ambulance comes, gives them Narcan. They don't want to go to the hospital. They don't want to get in the ambulance, but they've been treated.
They get billed.
They like hand that person. Like, how do they even know who this is?
Well, because they have this EPCR, which is a tablet that they have, and all the information is generated there. So when they go to the emergency room, it gets connected to the hospital's registration instead of having to physically write everybody's name down. So if that person has habitually been calling 911, all their information is there and it keeps getting generated. So if they're on Medicaid will continue getting that bill. Now, if he does something like that, they'll look at it and won't pay the bill. And now it goes directly to that person because now it's an abuse of the system. So like you said, if he
Or what if somebody is having a medical emergency?
They don't identify themselves.
Yeah, they just don't get the
But
information.
at some point, they would have to identify.
that will still go into the system. At some point, there's something there that'll either a date of birth or a location or just a name. It's continuously, repetitive. But when they give the Narcan, that is a medication, and he wakes up and decides to walk away, once he signs that paperwork that he refuses medical aid, he's taking the responsibility of his condition either reversing back or getting worse. And we're not responsible. So if they refuse medical, it's RMA, AMA. refuse medical aid, refuse transport. So he's taking the responsibility of refusing the transport to a facility, and his condition is gonna be on his own.
What if he gets a fake name or doesn't give
feel
you?
like you just give him the Narcan, he
But if
gives
he
you
doesn't
no
give a name,
information
yeah.
and he walks off.
There's nothing we can do
Okay.
about that, and that's the loss that the city's taking on.
Gotcha.
That's the big loss.
Yeah.
No, it's good to know because I didn't know
Yeah, they do.
either. I do know that if you know, that's a big bill. Because that girl on the skateboard, I was like, they were like, don't call. Take
Yeah,
a
it
cab.
went up
And
from
it like
800.
seems so serving because it's my car service. It happened like a little to the left of my car service. And I told her, I'm like, it's not, I don't need it. But that bill is going to be like $1,500
That's kind of
from
crazy,
here to there.
though, right? That, like, you almost have to think about that now, though.
Well, you know, in an emergency situation, you kind of panic.
I bet there are people
I
who
think
don't
that's why
really
they want to
need
do this presentation, could like to tell you, like, listen, there's some things that you don't need to call, like.
No, but what I mean is like when you really need it and you're like, I can't afford that. Like I've heard stories of people who just.
I mean, when you really need it, you'll deal with it later. But like, listen, my life is
The
worth
funny thing is
whatever
that
my
people that
life
really
is
need
worth.
it will call a cab.
Me.
They will
I
actually
know.
call a cab before they call an
I
ambulance.
know. That's.
I'll borrow your car service, medical.
Yeah, like if someone is suffering from like chest pains, I'm not telling them to call my car, sir. I'm telling them to call an ambulance. But I see somebody with a broken bone, I'm like, it's already broken. Like, there's not much more you can do. Like, you go to emergency room, you save yourself the $1,500. You're still gonna pay whatever you're paying there, but.
I have a quick question.
Of course.
So your question at the end was very interesting about.
Did you like it?
Yeah, I loved it. It was interesting. About not being able to find the building. I'm wondering, is it the responsibility of this particular committee to maybe have a conversation with all of the entities that we talk to, police department, fire department, not NTA, but what is it, DOT and EMS, to discuss like areas that have been problematic. Because one of the things that I find, some of these things are interconnected, right? So there's lighting issues that cause, crimes to happen, or police officers not to be able to get video footage because it's too dark in that particular area. You're not being able to find a building. Maybe NYCHA is not the signage in that area might not be good. I mean, I know East River. I used to live across the street from East River. I lived there for 26 years, and I can't tell you where the buildings are. Yeah. So maybe it's a signage situation. Do we discuss things of that nature as well?
That's what we're starting to do.
Well, it's also an issue. These suburbanites that come in and get on the fire department and they're put into these areas, they're reluctant to go into the projects. They're like, we can't find the building, and it's not the black and brown people that will be like, this is one of our people. We're gonna go help them. Okay, we don't care what's going on, and they see that it was a big issue when the fire department changed our uniforms. That they were nasty to the public, the fire department. And they're like, what are you calling an ambulance for? So when we came on board, people would shoot at us. And it's like, listen, we're not fire, we're EMS, we're here to help you.
You're shooting at firefighters.
Yeah.
They do. They do. And they did. In 1996, when we merged over, because the firemen would go to people's houses, and it's like, you're calling at 3 o'clock in the morning, and your kid just got a cold. And
I mean, they were having like fights.
This was back and forth.
Like words. Yeah. Okay.
So then we would come in, and it's like, why is that man calling me this and this and that? What do you think he is? And it's like, stop. Let's take the kid to the hospital. But the people only saw the uniform. See, our uniform does not say EMS. It says FDNY. So what are you gonna see? You're gonna think it's a firefighter. So now they're gonna be like, this guy's gonna be all nasty with me, and it did happen because I got shot at, I got attacked. My partner got assaulted, so I know that. But the kids that come in on the units now, they're young and they're frightful. They're like, it's too dark in there. I'm not gonna go into that building. Or that complex, I don't know the entrance. And they'll do that. And they'll continue to do that. Until somebody, and all the veterans that know this area are retiring. So they'll say, no, you gotta go through 105th through the parking lot and the entrance to the building is there.
I mean, that just sounds like bad preparation and training. If you know they're gonna be in an area and they're aware that the people that have been there a long time, like, oh, you gotta go this way, like, they should know the neighborhood they're gonna be responding to.
But it's difficult because when we did this walkthrough at East Road.
Yeah, I mean,
so
I know.
so you see just building after building after building, and if they're telling you this is the address, and you got 4 or 5 buildings to pick from,
That's a challenge.
and that person may not always be there. I think the job would be now
Maybe I
after
talked to
we,
night
Isn't there
shift.
scaffolding there?
there's scaffolding there. So after we've identified the problem, I think it's our responsibility to start addressing it. And Teresa obviously brought this up to me, and she was patient. And God willing, she's still with us. But that's scary. It's something that can happen, because timing is crucial in this situation. But most streets, if I tell them my address is 2116, you tell me your address, they know exactly. Most brownstones 2-3 floors, like they start. It's only one, but that's not the case for most of our Washington houses.
No, you can
It's even
get
bigger.
in, but you don't know what building you're at.
So we need to figure out a way that we can easily
Signage.
identify.
You gotta get night shift and maybe make signs, like, that could be something you talk to housing about.
And even then, like, have these conversations with the EMS where they know, like, certain buildings you can't access them from certain places. It's easier to access them from the parking lot.
Yeah.
So you need to be able to know. Teresa's building, you need to be able to go down and then go into the parking lot. If you go on the north side, you're never gonna get there. You're never gonna get there. And it's probably what happened. They were stuck on the north side, and now unless they go down the wrong way First Avenue, which they have the ability to at least, but they would have to go to Second Avenue, go a little all the way back around, and then come in. It's a process which
Some of the buildings have double addresses. Like my old building has a double address. So if you look at the front of the building, it says 2090. It's my old building. I don't look anymore, but it says 2090 First Avenue. That's the entrance that we go through. But the address that we use is full 5 East 150th, which is on the side.
Yep.
So a lot of the buildings are like that. So those, like, NYCHA has to be better at, like, putting, like, I know some buildings in the Bronx, I forgot the name, I think it's called Tiffany Court. They have a lot of buildings, and what they did was start putting the address or
each building had an
right on
own
the gate, so that like, this is the entrance, or in this gateway you get to 2080, or I'm just making numbers up, but it has to be something like that, because I understand the racism issue, but I also understand, I lived in Wilson projects most of my life. I don't know how to navigate East River. I can't tell you how to navigate East River.
No,
I don't.
Well, there's solutions. It's about actually getting them to.
I'll tell you to navigate. Don't go to the corner.
Right.
I'm
going back.
Go to the corner. Unless you know somebody. But we will. This is a good project to work on. I think it's necessary so that people's lives can be properly attended to, and we can work with the housing and the tenant association and see if any other.
Could even have
housing.
them go out to the tenant meetings, start having conversations.
And I'm sure the fire department would, EMS would be very welcoming to something like this.
Well, and as the night shifts, as certain properties get converted into PAC with management companies, then they'll be able to, I don't know right now if they are going to East River houses, if there's they can call and say, which building are we going to, right? Is there really, I guess they could call the night shelters, but they'll have these newer properties that are getting converted, they'll have 24/7, I guess, management. They could call, where am I going, which building. So things will start to improve. But
all right. So we looking forward. We have old business, new business. First I wanted to thank Michelle for chairing in the time that she was here. Michelle Clements. We appreciate all the work that she did and all the work that was done. We look forward to continuing that work. There's always something to do. You see, out of a simple conversation, we now have a whole very important project that can come out of. And I think we should start being more proactive and kind of seeing what the community needs. And by doing that, it's only by conversing, right? Talking to the community and pushing. Particularly DOT is the biggest agency that we deal with. It is just constant, I harassed them forever to get that 117th Street done. And, I didn't get it done, but to get those planters there, You know, they didn't put the last 2 or 3, and because they didn't put the last 2 or 3, cars parked there all the time. As soon as a car parks there, a person won't walk there anymore because at the end they see the cars and like I can't walk through the car. And if I walk to the right, I have to take my shopping cart and lift it up where there's no ramp, right? Or I decide to walk into the street where the cars are traveling, and now you only have one lane to travel there. So it's a constant fight. Hopefully, we can do something with that capital project. Never know. It's worth a try. Any other comments, concerns, anything we can bring up? I look forward to like kind of probably taking some time to building up what we're looking at and what we're doing. I'm gonna familiarize myself with like what we've been doing for the last couple of 6 months or so.
right there.
Yeah. It was a question, you know. So, but anything from anyone here?
You never know if you need any more help with getting information from the chief.
Oh yeah, we look forward to having him back. You know, obviously this, and it sounds that he's very interested in this, the dues of calling 911 because if we're the second highest emergencies in the city. That was big numbers, 160,000 for bones, and I wouldn't call an ambulance for a bone injury, unless it's like my back or something. But a bone or
Is that gonna be the training?
I think people don't understand. I think part of it should also be like people understanding. Like people seem to think like an ambulance is free.
I mean,
and in turn of emergency, like
no,
you should be
it's
aware.
a cab service to bypass the emergency room,
Yeah.
bypass the wait, coming through the back, and ambulance brought me in, I should be seen first. That's what their perception is. And when the nurse kicks them out to the waiting room, they start fighting. That's why the nurses are on strike now, because they get assaulted by these people. It's like, look, we brought you here. This is where my job is done.
Because I mean, you know, my grandmother when she was alive, so I spent a lot of time in an emergency room because she just, 10 years of bad health. You know, half of the year she spent in the hospital. But that was just because of many different conditions. But you see it there because I'm there waiting for her, and you'll see people in emergency. They'll treat you depending on the severity of what you're encountering. Mm-hmm. You know, it's chest or anything like that, or anything cardio. But if you have something broken, you could be waiting there a significant amount of time until someone X-rays or anything like that, and that's when people get frustrated, thinking that that's going to help. But maybe part of the training. We'll see when the chief comes back. Anything else that we got? You guys are interested in putting forward?
911 calls in general. Like I know that's going to be a call about when to call 911, but what about 911 navigating a 911 call, because that could be very frustrating as well. Also, like when to call 911 when to call 311. That's a huge thing as well. A lot of people call 911 for noise complaints when you should be calling 311. What does that look like? And the reason I say that is because you guys know I work in a building with people with mental health issues, where I have frequent flyers who call 911 because their nose is running, right? Like, let me get an ambulance to the hospital. But I also know for me, when I have to call 911, the frustration and what to say to a 911 operator, right? They ask you 7,000 questions. And I like to end on funny notes. So there was a guy running up Lexington Avenue who was butt naked, who seemed to be going through a mental health issue that you can tell he was spiraling. And she kept asking me, well, what does he look like? He's naked. You can't, like, if no one else out here that's naked, right? What does he look like? What do you want me to tell you? Like, he's brown. I don't know. But those become frustrating for people who don't know how to navigate calls, right? And there's also times when you can get an answering service for 911, and a lot of people don't know that.
What do you mean, like a machine?
Yes, a machine comes up.
You know what's pretty effective, honestly? 311. It's quicker to submit it online than it is to call it in. Yep. And sometimes I wonder if that would be, like, they could be more innovative with even 911 calls. Well, I think a lot of people don't call because they don't want to talk to someone. We're in a society where nobody wants to, or they're like scared to say something. They're gonna ask you your name. I don't know. When you said sage, right? Like you call. Like I think a lot of people especially in our community, I think people are hesitant to.
I constantly call 911 when I see people passed out, and particularly in front of the church next to me. Because people on the stoop do
But
what
there
they
are people that
do,
won't call from because.
but they
their own
pass out,
situation.
and then I call them at 911. And a lot, you know what I get a lot of? I get a lot of. Can you touch them? Can you see it? And I'm like, I'm not touching them.
So that's what I
It's
mean,
like a
you don't have to answer
liability
that
issue. Like that's why I'm calling you. Like I can't.
But then, like to somebody else, they're gonna be like, not gonna call anymore.
This
right?
person gets up, and this person gets up upset. Is this person this? Is this person that? I'm like, I can't deal with that. I don't respond kindly to those
But how
things.
much better
Then
would be
I got a
116
different problem.
person's passed out, deal with it.
Before I retired, I was a 911
You
dispatcher.
can lie on the call.
So when you call 911, you're gonna get a civilian within the police department, and they're gonna verify the address, and then they ask you, what do you want, fire or EMS or PD, right there. Then when they send you over to EMS, they're gonna ask you, they're gonna verify the location, and they're gonna ask you all the medical questions. Is the patient awake? Is the patient breathing? And it's a map that they have. Everybody has to follow it. Is he awake? Is breathing? If he's not breathing, you ask these questions. If he is breathing, you ask these questions. And that whole acronym keeps going down. That's why they do it.
No, I get it. I'm talking about, I may understand that. But think of a person in panic. Think of a person who does not have the knowledge, how frustrating it is to answer 15,000 questions. I understand it.
Mm-hmm.
But I've seen people who panic and just hang up.
Right.
So, what's frustrating, what part is frustrating for them? Like, how do we, like, one of the trainings that we used to have with NYPD was, when you call, what is the pertinent information to have if you witness a crime? What do you want to see, right? So that you're prepared, know the color shirt that the person had on. Look at what if he's standing next to a pole, how close it is, because you're not gonna know how tall that person is, but how tall is he, what level of the pole is he at? What color is his skin? Some of the things that you might not think of, like, did he have shoelaces? So those are some of the trainings that we have, because it becomes frustrating when you're asked a question and you're in panic. That's all I'm saying.
But
Those
it's
are good
good.
questions for
Those
the
are
chief.
Those are good questions for the chief.
For medical calls.
For training.
For training.
Because he's gonna talk to us about like what is considered, right. But we can also ask him like what should be the steps during a 911 call.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they'll say he's awake, he's not breathing, so.
I give as much information as I can, but like I'll be like, he's breathing, and they'll be like, can you move? I'm like, I can't move.
Mm-hmm.
I
don't want to touch him.
What else am I supposed to say?
Well, with his call, when he says that, it'll decide if a fire engine will go and a paramedic unit will go, or just an EMS call and an EMT unit.
Right.
By those questions, that's why they ask you if he's awake, if he's breathing. Yeah. If you say no and no, that means a fire engine is gonna come out and start doing CPR before an ambulance gets there. But if he says the person is not awake but is breathing, so they're looking at an overdose and not gonna call the fire engine. Whereas in your case, so that's gonna be emotionally disturbed person. That is not a priority call for EMS, even though he's running around naked in 10-degree weather. It's not. It's a PD call. That's why PD gets upset when they have them and they're looking for transport, but it's not an emergency call because the person is awake and the person is breathing. It's just that he's spiraling out, but PD already has them restrained. PD doesn't want to transport them because they have no facility to transport him in. That's why they wait for an ambulance, and the ambulance in the schematics, that is not a priority. Yeah. But that'll be something for the training as well.
Yeah, steps during 911. Okay, this is good, and we'll continue doing the work next month or the month after. We'll see how it works. So let us do a roll call and
wait, I had a question. What, y'all just not gonna listen? They're not gonna recognize me?
Hi, Christina.
I waited patiently for this.
Like 10 times, Christina. Like
waited patiently.
I don't know if you were like not listening to us, but we said your name at least 10 times.
I did not hear it. I didn't hear it. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, so 2 things. I would like the information of the chief. When you get a minute, if someone could send me that. But also I wanted to piggyback off of what Kyoka was saying about when a person is panicked and they're making these calls and someone is asking them 15,000 questions, it's very frustrating, right? So how do we bring this information to the residents so that they have some idea or some maybe sort of checklist that they can look at before emergencies so that they know when they call, these are the types of questions that are going to be asked, and this is the type of information that you should have. Is that something that can be done?
Absolutely.
I think Chief Flynn will probably, we'll tell him what we want him to talk about when he gives a presentation, and he can touch on some of these points. Maybe you could also present to the full board, or you can, Jose, just say what this presentation covered.
Yeah, we can. I mean, he'll give us the presentation. We can share with the full board. I think he's looking to share this with as much as the community as possible, from my understanding, since
Increase that number 911.
Well, he's probably hoping to decrease.
To decrease it. After all the salaries, it'll double.
Thank you.
All right. Anything else, Christina?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Khalid, is that your feet I see up? Are we boring you? I don't know. Were you having like a separate meeting out there? I need you in here, not out there, man. Come on. No, I need you in here waiting with us, not out there. We did that. We need you here the whole time. All right, so let's do the roll call.
Jose Altamirano,
Present.
Leslie Colon,
Present.
Carlos Diaz, absent. Wanda Hawkins,
Present.
thank you. Kyoka Jackson,
President.
Christina Johnson,
Present.
Christina Jewel Jones,
Present.
Sage Mason,
Present.
Valerie Ponte,
Present.
thank you. Don Summers is absent. Michelle Richard Clement has requested to be excused.
All right, adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Khalid says we have it, so do you have it?
Yes,
I imagine you got it.
I got it.
I
was
Let
the
me,
one
let
that
me,
reached